or is this full-time MMA now?
I love full-time MMA right now.
Full-time MMA?
MMA,
Nothing
yeah.
else?
My life, man, yeah.
Back to the daily grind, and shout out to the full-time patrons. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Michael Venom Page of Bellator MMA has improved to 2-0 as a professional boxer with an impressive one-punch knockout of a guy that was 1-6. I don't know the guy's name. There's no way I'm going to know Michael Venom Page's boxing opponent's name. I'm sorry. I don't think a boxing fan would know this guy's name. And that's because you know how pro boxers do, how they build up their career in the beginning. You're supposed to crunch cans down there. How do you think there's so many boxers that end up 45-0 and fucking 20-0 and 30-0 and you know, there's so many undefeated boxers. Somebody's got to be losing, and it's the guys that are like 1-12 and 1-6 and stuff like that. I think they just get passed around by all of these boxers looking to become undefeated, and that's what's going on with Michael Venom Page. His opponent this time was 1-6, but that's a lot better than his actual boxing debut opponent. But you can't really be too mad as if you're watching his boxing career, because that's, you know, how boxers do their thing. But if you're an MMA fan, which I am, a hardcore fan, I have to be honest, this is a little unfortunate. I'm looking to see Michael Venom Page become one of the best MMA fighters in the world. I want to see his potential against the best MMA fighters in the world. You know, because already in MMA, he was kind of building up a resume of a guy that wasn't fighting the toughest competition. So now he moves to boxing and he fights more guys that are not on his level. And I'm all good with that, you know what I'm saying? He is a very entertaining fighter to watch. He's got a fun style. But I don't know how I feel about guys dancing after beating up people they're supposed to beat. You know, it's one thing when you're Cody Garbrandt and you're beating the bantamweight champion Dominic Cruz and you're dancing, you know, and showboating and stuff like that. That's one thing. Or if you really dislike a guy and so you're not being very sportsmanlike, that's another thing. I get both of those. But if you're fighting a guy that's 0-12 and you're dancing on him before you knock him out, I don't know if I feel that as much. You know what I'm saying? If you that's like fighting CM Punk. Like, imagine if Mickey Gall, and even then, that's a different story, because you might have been trying to teach CM Punk a lesson, right? Like, bro, this is the UFC. Do you see what I can do to you in here? You're not on the level. You shouldn't be in the octagon. If you're trying to teach CM Punk a lesson like that, you know, as a WWE guy, I get it. But I don't want to see fucking John Jones fighting an unranked light heavyweight and dancing on it. I don't want to see Stipe Miocic fighting fucking a guy you can't even think of. Who's a heavyweight that's not really up there? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see a really good fighter fighting a can and dancing on him. That's kind of a mockery. It kind of feels like bullying to me. You know what I'm saying? You're beating up somebody already you got a good chance against, you feel like you can win against, and now you're showboating, you're embarrassing this guy, you know, on top of it. I mean, clearly the guy needs a paycheck to be stepping in there at 1-6 against a guy that's supposed to. I mean, I don't know. That's just, I'm not really into that. I'll just say that. I'm not really into showboating against people that you're supposed to beat. You know, Valentina Shevchenko, if she was fighting Priscilla Cachoeira and dancing, it's like, what are we doing here? Well, you're already supposed to win. Just do it, you know? So, yeah. But as far as professional boxing, I dig it. I'm actually, if Michael Venom Page built up to like a 20-0 record, you know, and then moved to professional boxing, I might watch that. I might actually watch him, you know, if he fought the best guys in the world. But I don't want to see him move up to 10-0 after fighting 10 cans and then transition back to fucking full-time MMA. You know, shameless plug, didn't realize what I did there. But I don't want to see him, okay, now that I've beat up 10 guys in boxing, now let's go back to being a world champion in MMA. Then it's going to be too fucking late. So, I mean, I'm interested to see how Michael Page will do against the Roy McDonalds, especially Paul Daly. You know, even if Roy McDonald or Michael Venom Page, just to be honest, and I feel like I can be more honest now that I'm on Patreon, because YouTube, I don't know what the fuck's going on with their censoring and all type, you know, the thumbs down. The people with me on Patreon, I feel like I can actually rock with. So, with that being said, Michael Venom Page, I honestly feel like he's probably got a weakness against the wrestler. You know, I don't think he would do good against anybody with high-level wrestling. He might get exposed in the sense of he wouldn't be able to get up, and they could probably beat him down there. And it will take away from Michael Venom Page. He's a very fun fighter to watch. I gotta be honest, man. Michael Venom Page is one of the things that really drew me to Bellator. But then it's like, once I dug deep and found out, looked at all of his Bellator competition, and you know, started doing Bellator predictions, and just doing more, becoming a more educated MMA fan, the more I realized, okay, Michael Venom Page is not really fighting wrestlers, you know what I'm saying? He's fought some tough fighters, you know, definitely fought some tough fighters in MMA, not in boxing yet, in MMA, but usually it's a striker or somebody that's really not on his level, you know what I'm saying? So when he did face his first wrestling challenge, his first tough challenge, some people say, I believe his name was Fernando Gonzalez, the guy he fought, when he was able to take him down, Michael Venom Page had a hard time on his back. So imagine if he fought a better wrestler than Fernando Gonzalez, right? I mean, so he could have a problem with that. But I still would like to see him fight Paul Daley. What about just the best strikers in the world? I understand that. You know, you don't want to put Paul Daley in there with somebody that's probably going to out-wrestle him and try and wrestle fuck him or win the fight just by taking him down, because then you don't even get to see MVP do his thing. I would love to see how he would do against a Paul Daley, another veteran striker who's been in there with the best in the world. Is he even going to be able to dance on Paul Daley? You know what I'm saying? We know you definitely, it's going to be a hard fight against a wrestler, but I want to see if he's even going to be dancing against the best fighters in the world. You know what I'm saying? If not, hey, maybe it is what it is. And maybe, I'm sure they know his skill level. If they thought he was, the Paul Daley fight was supposed to happen, but if they thought MVP could become the welterweight champion, maybe that's the route he would be going. But instead, we see him improving to 2-0 as a boxer, dancing on those guys over there. So that being said, let the other patrons know what you think in the comments. I'm out. And before we go, shout out to all the full-time MMA white belts that have hit the subscribe button. Make sure you also hit the notification bell right next to it so you're notified every time I upload a video. And if you want to become a full-time MMA blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, or black belt, all you have to do is go to patreon.com/fulltimemma. I'm out.
Bye, Felicia.